Hello, hope all is well in your world today. I just want to discuss the new Bob Dylan Bootleg Series, Volume 16, which has just been released today, September 17th, 2021. And it encompasses three albums from 1980 to 1985. Those albums are Infidels, Shot of Love, and Empire Burlesque. Uh, Although most people know Bob Dylan from his first eight albums, the eponymous Bob Dylan, Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, um, Highway 61 Revisited, Another Side of Bob Dylan, and Blonde on Blonde, John Wesley Harding, uh, and maybe even Nashville Skyline with Lay Lady Lay. Um, that was probably his classic period that most people know him from, and maybe one of his most prolific periods as far as international commercial success went. But his 70s and 80s were also very prolific, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't know about those years as well. And the Bootleg Series, Volume 16, um, was released today. And as a matter of fact, I think this is probably Bob Dylan's greatest period as far as songwriting. Um, as far as songwriting goes, it's very inspired and very more rock inspired as opposed to the folk years of the 60s. And, if you could argue that anybody has been more influential as far as music goes, as Bob Dylan was, probably the most influential songwriter of the 20th century in that genre of music, folk and rock, and maybe blues, folk rock blues. And no artist in his generation wasn't influenced by Bob Dylan, whether it be the Beatles, who have said themselves there'd probably be no Rubber Soul or Revolver. And what came after that was Sgt. Pepper's, the Beatles' White Album, and Abbey Road, and all those great albums. Wouldn't it maybe not have happened if it wasn't for Bob Dylan? And maybe Jimi Hendrix wouldn't have had such fame if it wasn't for his covering All Along the Watchtower. Or Joan Baez might not be as famous hadn't she tagged along with Bob Dylan for many years. And Joni Mitchell also would tell you that she was hugely influenced by Bob Dylan, as was Gordon Lightfoot, one of the greatest songwriters from my country, Canada. Gordon Lightfoot is probably the greatest songwriter to ever come out of this country in Canada, and he was hugely influenced by Bob Dylan. Covered a number of his songs, and Bob Dylan also spoke highly of him when he said that he was one of his favorite songwriters. Bob Dylan said Gordon Lightfoot was one of his favorite songwriters, and was known to drop in at his house in Rosedale in Toronto when he was in Toronto in 1974, 1975, when uh, Bob Dylan came through Toronto for the tour of the Rolling Thunder Revue. He actually phoned up Bob Dylan and said, "Hey, can you come down to Maple Leaf Gardens, and we're going to do two shows. I want you to come on stage and sing your songs." And Gordon Lightfoot did, and famously, they went the whole troupe of Rolling Thunder Revue went back to Gordon Lightfoot's house after to his mansion after the shows, and they partied there until the wee hours of the morning, smoking and snorting and drinking and partying. But it's a known fact that Bob Dylan and Gordon Lightfoot retired up to the third floor, where they could try out their songs on each other, some new songs on each other, new material. So back to what I was saying is that Bob Dylan is highly influential, the most influential songwriter of his generation, and his bootleg series are always a treat when they're released. And this one is one I've been waiting for, and it's been on pre-order for a while. So it came out today, and let's just take a look at it here. So it's basically two CDs. There is a 5 CD option available, as with most of his box sets. He offers the deluxe version, which is many CDs, 5 or 6 CDs, like the live BBC recordings, 1966, or the Rolling Thunder Revue, which has I think 10 CDs, and it's each CD encompasses a show from a different city, and as far as these box sets go, there's usually a smaller 2 CD companion set that is offered as sort of a more affordable option, and that's what this is. This is the 2 CD option with 24 unreleased tracks, with liner notes and a 60-page booklet enclosed. And this is the disc 1 with a picture of Bob Dylan. He's looking at his fingers and thumbs for the camera for some reason, whether that be an artistic pose or he's just I think he has something on his fingers there. I don't know. And on the back, he's leaning up against a fence in New York City. I'm assuming these pictures are all New York City, because it's called Springtime in New York. And there is disc 1, and you can see the list of songs: Angelina, Need a Woman, Let's Keep It Between Us, Price of Love, and so on and so on. I won't read them all to save your time. And disc 2, Bob Dylan on his acoustic guitar, Bob Dylan, Hands in Pockets. Disc 2, Foot of Pride, Sweetheart Like You, Someday Get a Hold of My Heart. Someone's got a hold of my heart. I tell me enough is enough. Tight connection to my heart. A few of the tracks on there. And there's a 60-page booklet. Excuse me. 60-page booklet. Yeah. So that's just a little glimpse inside that booklet. There's a lot of stuff in here, track by track, the rehearsal dates, personnel, and just a little retrospective about each song. Yeah, it's quite good. So I I would highly recommend that if you're a Dylan fan. I'm I'm not the world's biggest expert on Bob Dylan. I know there's a lot of people out there that know a lot about Bob Dylan and know everything about his life. They're hardcore Dylan fans, and well, I certainly love his music and appreciate his influence on our culture. Um, I'm probably not even anywhere near as well versed as a lot of people are. So forgive me if I missed anything um, important in this little video about the Bootleg series, Volume 16, 1980, 1985. And stay safe, and thank you. Thanks, Bob Dylan.